Konnichiwa, Nihon Cricket Pod do Yokoso. Hello and welcome to the latest Japan Cricket Podcast episode. Rainy season has landed in Japan, which means we've had a fair few washouts in the last few weeks. But that was not an issue for this week's guest, who has recently returned from playing a first-of-its-kind tournament in Dubai. More on that shortly. A quick glance around the cricket that was played since my last episode. In the Japan Cricket League Division 1, we managed to get 4 out of 5 matches completed, and now we're through 5 rounds of the competition, so the table is definitely starting to take shape. The Wyverns registered a 9-wicket win over Paddy Foley's, bowling them all out for 162 with 3 wickets apiece for Kohei Kubota and Tomonoshin Oki, before Shogo Kimura hit 80 not out in the chase as Wyverns cruised to a bonus point win. The Tokyo Rangers had been the team to beat, but they were held to a thrilling tie in their rain-affected match against Sano Cricket Club. Munir Ahmed had top scored for Sano with 61 as they registered 258 for 8 from their 40 overs, before the Rangers got off to a flyer. They were 46 for none after 5 overs when the rain came, and their target was then reduced to 212 from 30 overs. Coming into the final ball, all 3 results were possible. In the end, Kazumasa Hiratsuka did enough to restrict the Rangers to 211 all out, with a run out off that final ball. Aloysius Sampath was the last man out, having made 70 from 36 balls to nearly get Rangers a 4th consecutive win. That result means Rangers are off the top and replaced by the men in blue, who swept aside defending champions Chiba Sharks, knocking them over for just 108 with Vikash Ranjan taking 3 wickets. Keep an eye on that guy, he seems to keep getting wickets every time I look at the scorecard. They needed just 16 overs to score the runs despite losing 4 wickets. Ankit Panwar struck 5 sixes on his way to 51 not out of 36 balls. A big bonus point win for the men in blue and a genuine title challenge emerging. Anyone who listened to last week's show will know that the Tokyo Wombats got marmalised to the tune of 450 by the Rangers in their last outing. So all the more credit to them for bouncing back with a 7-wicket win over the Rising Stars. Alex Shilai Patmore and Richie Bracefield both made 70s in an opening stand of 139 as they chased down the target of 260 with 9 balls remaining to earn a valuable win against the other winless side in the division. While Max CC and Alpha Quashers did fall foul of the weather, the Tigers did manage to register a 56-run win over the Tokyo Falcons. There were half-centuries for Ranjit Mooli, Anil Kumar and Sabarish Ravichandran, who made his first Division 1 half-century for more than 500 days apparently. Tigers made 247 for 6 and then bowled the Falcons out for 191 despite a defiant 85 from Sarfaraz Petkar. That means the top 4 in the JCL Division 1 are currently the men in blue out in front with 18 points, Tigers and Rangers just behind with 16 and 15 points respectively, although the Rangers do have a game in hand, while Max, Sano, Wyverns and Paddy Foley's all have 11 points, so good competition for the semi and final places. In Division 2, we had a top-of-the-table clash between the Alpha Quashers and the new boys Kawasaki Knight Riders, with the Quashers coming out on top thanks to 5 for 13 from Yusri Mohideen, who helped AQCC rip KKR apart for just 98, and then the score was chased down in 20 overs to give them a 6-point lead at the top of the Division 2 table. The Japan Women's Cricket League has also begun since you last heard from me, with most matches this year being played at the Nagasawa ground in Kawasaki. It was a mixed day for Wyverns, who won their first game against the Kawasaki Knight Riders by 9 wickets, before Adore made 150 against them to charge to a 50-run win. More games in that league this weekend, with Sendai women's team making their first appearance in the league. Right, that leads me on to my next guest. Sit back and enjoy Shizuka Miyaji tell us all about her recent experience at the inaugural FairBreak Invitational 2022, and also go back over her time as part of the Japan cricket fabric. Okay, my guest this week, very excited to welcome her on board. She is Japan cap number 19, which is the lowest number I've definitely had on this show. She's Japan women's second highest wicket taker. She is Japan women's second highest run scorer. She is the most capped player for Japan men's or women's. And she's Japan's first ever professional cricketer. Shizuka Miyaji, welcome on the Japan Cricket Podcast.
Hello.
Okay, so you've just got back when we're recording this. You've been back a couple of weeks from Dubai after your adventure at the FairBreak Invitational Global Tournament. Before we start talking about the specifics of that and what it was like, a tweet went round just after the tournament finished, which I wanted to run through. Best bowling average of the tournament, Shizuka Miyaji, 5.5. Best economy rate of the tournament, Shizuka Miyaji, 4.71. Best bowling strike rate, Shizuka Miyaji, 7.0. And the sixth highest wicket taker in the tournament. So all in all, you must be quite satisfied with how the tournament went. It's a podcast, so you're speaking, nodding doesn't.
Okay.
So when you look back at it now, and you've had a couple of weeks, how do you feel about the whole tournament?
Yes, the tournament was very amazing and very happy to play with world class star players.
Was it really a special feeling in that everyone was there doing something new? It was the beginning of something. Did it feel that way?
Yes, and the first time I met them, I was very nervous to talk to them because I always watch them on TV, but they didn't know me.
So you know them, but they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't know that person.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So over the course of the event, you played what, 6 matches?
Five
matches. 5 matches. So can you tell us what your background is with FairBreak?
Okay. I know FairBreak activities because I played against them in London in 2019. I was very impressed with their mission and purpose. So I always wanted to join them. I played them in Hampstead.
And so you were playing for the MCC?
Yes, MCC.
Yeah, okay. And how did that come about? Was that through the British Army girls that were here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the British Army girls came here, you got in touch with them.
Yes.
They got involved in that game, the MCC. Yeah, okay. So how did you get selected for the tournament?
JCA nominated me to tournament, so very appreciate announcer.
Yeah, I know the answer, obviously, but everyone else might not know. So yeah, the JCA nominated, I think, 3, 4, 5 players maybe, and they chose you. So that's obviously a good feather in your cap. What were your expectations before you went? What did you think it was going to be like?
I'm just excited and a bit nervous.
You trained really hard, right? You took it very seriously.
Yeah.
And what was it like over the sort of 3 months, 4 months leading up? Because it was winter here. So training must have been quite challenging.
Yes, I broke 3 cricket bat during the winter because it's too cold. Yeah, always had training in the morning around 7:30 to 8:30. Temperature was around -3 degrees. So cold, too cold.
And you were doing all of this training, through COVID periods when things were shut off, people weren't allowed to travel. How did that affect you in the build up to event, like being worried about potentially it being cancelled or moved again or getting COVID? Must have added to a lot of the things you had in your mind.
Yes, and I was not sure what happened next because EAP tournament canceled due to COVID. So, yeah, I couldn't make my mind keep playing or stop playing. But just I want to try to my skills to higher level.
And so now that you've done that, do you feel, I don't want to use the word vindicated, do you feel happy that you've been able to go to that level, the highest level that you probably likely to play, and done okay? It must be really satisfying.
I'm happy with my performance during the tournament, but I will try to bat more.
Yeah, sure. You only batted once, right?
Yes, just once, yeah.
But I mean, it must be difficult when you've got players like Sophie Dunkley in the team. Pretty good.
So good.
And I guess, okay, so we'll come to this actually. That's one of my next questions was, we'll come to the training and the role you got given in a minute. But before we get to that, what was the setup like? I mean, you've flown into Dubai. Talk us through arriving in Dubai and what happened next.
Arriving in Dubai and picking up my playing shirts or something from my manager room.
Did someone meet you at the airport? Was there a sign with
Yes,
From Miyaji at the airport.
FairBreak. And first time I met 5 South African players.
Okay.
Oh, I know that. I know her. Very, very nice. And I shared my car with Ismail.
Okay, right.
She's very nice. She's very funny.
Okay, cool. So then what was the hotel like? And Dubai's Dubai, right? It was your first time to Dubai?
Yes.
Yeah. So lots of big, shiny hotels and all fancy stuff. What was that? A bit of a shock, or what were you expecting it to be as it was?
My first impression was too hot.
Yeah, right. And what about the training facilities? Where did you train?
I had a training only fielding session at the stadium, Dubai International Stadium.
Okay.
And 2 or 3 times I had training at ICC Academy.
What was that like?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
They have 2 oval and I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 lanes. Yeah, very big.
So were you training indoors, outdoors?
But outdoors and on turf.
Outdoors and on turf. Yeah. Okay. So what were the training sessions like? I mean, I understand that you had that first training session, which everyone was at. And then after that, I think someone told me that they became it was like optional whether you came to training. So what was it like that very first training session when you've seen all these players who you've seen on TV? How did you feel going into it? And how did you feel at the end of it?
I had a meeting with coach and assistant coach before training. What my lord is in Japan, not for Japan. Like I can be top order or top 5 or top 6. And I can bowl what kind of ball, left arm spin. So they all know player.
Play roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the application process that we put in that kind of information as well. But I guess they want to speak to you about it. And so you hadn't had those conversations before you went. Those conversations had when you arrived.
Yes.
So having that conversation with a lot of players, I guess.
Yeah, but we have 7 or 8 very good players, like England players, Australian players, Thailand and Scotland players. So coach and assistant coach already know them.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes sense that those players have already got half the places in the team kind of sorted, and then the rest of you guys are all kind of scrapping for the last 4 or 5 places in the team. Okay, so tell us about some of your teammates. Any new friends? Any funny stories? And who are the best players?
Yeah, of course, Sophie Eccleston. She's the best player because she is #1 bowler in the world.
Yeah, doing what you do as a left arm spinner.
Yeah, she's very tall and her bowling is very powerful. Very good turn and have a lot of variations, like arm balls. And she's very good and very nice.
So were you able to speak to her about how she bowls? Get some tips in the training sessions?
Yeah, always have training with her. So very lucky.
Yeah, great. I mean, that must be a great resource to learn from, having someone like that who's been so successful.
Yeah.
And okay, if you can tell me one thing, what was the best thing that you learned from one of the other players?
Switch on and off.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese people always very serious, but they didn't. And sometimes switch on, but after the match, switch off.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah, so very good.
Yeah, because you can burn out quite quickly.
Yes, yeah.
And being able to relax is a really important part of being able to be your best when it matters. Okay, so then once you started the tournaments, most of your games were sort of afternoon, evening. Had it cooled down a little bit by then, or was it still really hot?
Yeah, night match start from 8.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Finishing at 11 p.m.
Yeah, a bit harder because went back to hotel around 12:30 a.m. So I went to bed around 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit hard, but match started from 4 p.m. Awful.
Yeah, I bet. Really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you got there, there's a picture of you at the stadium.
Yeah.
Taken from behind. So what was it like playing in a stadium like that? Very different to playing. We're sat here looking out over the SICG. This is great, but it's different, right?
Nothing changed.
Were you aware of like the cameras and the photographers and that kind of stuff and playing?
I didn't realize that.
Didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably best. Okay. So like I said, it's been a couple of weeks now. You've been back. What's the one thing that you'll remember? What's your most like specific, vivid memory for the tournament?
Regarding to performance?
Anything.
Anything. One funny story. Our team has a player from Tanzania.
Yes.
She was a bit nervous to speak English. So everyone learned Swahili.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So teach me some Swahili.
Okay. Mambo.
Mambo.
How are you?
Perfect. That's so easy.
Poa. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. All right. I understand that you, of course, we can't have this interview without talking about your 4-wicket haul. Tell us a little bit about that day. Were you expecting to bowl? And then, was there anything about that day that just felt better? You knew it was going to be like a good day for you, or was it just, as you said beforehand, you said maybe a bit of luck involved, but.
Yeah. And I think a pitch was a very boring pitch. Sometimes a very low bounce. So our team plan was stump to stump. So I just focused out, okay, I bowl to stump, bowl to stump.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm trying to remember, you'd taken 1 wicket in your first game? Because the fourth was your second game, right?
4 wicket in first game and the second wicket the second game, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when you took that first wicket, how did it feel? Like you practiced so hard for so long to get this opportunity and now you're taking wickets on a massive stage. What was your emotion?
I just appreciate captain, very nice feeling present.
And the capture for taking.
Yes.
And you had a couple of stumpings as well, were taken off your bowling as well. So
yes, yeah.
that must have been quite pleasing having a keeper who's that kind of level. And so you got MVP that day for your 4 wickets.
Yeah.
And I understand there was a prize that you got given, and there's a story about that as well.
Yes. I always use Apple Watch, and my old one almost broken. So I bought a new one just before leaving Japan. But I got another new one in Dubai.
So your MVP prize was an Apple Watch.
Yes, yeah.
So you got spare. So maybe I need an Apple Watch. I don't have one.
No, I gave it to my husband.
Oh, lucky him. All right. So the other question I had, you mentioned, we were talking before you came on there about local support. You had to work really hard in Sano, using the facilities here. I know that you've got to go and visit some people over the next few weeks to say thanks for the support.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that and what that meant and give some examples of the kind of support you had?
Support the club in Sano gave me some money to prepare the tournament because I need a lot of
new shoes,
the spikes, and
stuff like that. Yeah, and I think for people who don't know, listening to this, the Sano Supporter Club is something that got set up like 10 years ago last year.
Yeah.
To help cricketers and to help cricket develop so that the town can benefit from that. And so I think there was a lot of excitement amongst those people who've been supporting cricket for so long to see some results, to see a player get a chance of a professional contract. So again, then lastly on the FairBreak tournament, is it something you'd want to be involved in again?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So the next one's March next year in Hong Kong. Right?
March in Hong Kong, yeah.
Have you had any conversations about that, or are you just waiting for someone to give you a call? Or do I need to nominate you again?
Please nominate me again.
All right. Well, we'll see. You have to be nice to me over the next couple of weeks. Okay, cool. And other than FairBreak, what about the rest of this year? What are your plans now? You said you took a couple of weeks off.
Yes, I had 2 weeks off and just restart training. So we'll focus on East Asia Cup.
East Asia Cup in October, which we're not officially supposed to talk about yet. But yeah, that is on the horizon. Hopefully that will be announced probably soon. Yeah, cool. So, I mean, I think that for women's cricket, something like FairBreak's been such a publicity boost. It is so different, right? Because it's not about nations coming together and competing. But did you feel, I keep saying last question, this is the last question. Did you feel with your team, the spirit, that you had a built good team spirit, a good environment amongst the group, and that there was a pride in representing that group?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And are you still in touch with the players?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like a WhatsApp group or something, and there's some messages going around?
Sometimes I send Tanzanian players Namambo.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, look, we'll move on from FairBreak. It's really interesting to hear about it. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people who now have something to aspire to. They want the chance to go and have that experience as well, probably hopefully in Japan and all over the world as well. So for women's cricket, it's been a great thing. And it's, from a Japan point of view, we want to support it as much as we can. Okay. So normally on this podcast, I actually start with people's early lives. So, this is the interesting stuff.
Okay.
I want to know about your early life, Susan.
Okay.
So where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born and then grew up in Nishinomiya City, close to Kobe.
Okay, Kobe. Okay. And what's it like there?
There is known as home of high school baseball in Japan.
Right. Okay. So big baseball environment. And so did you play baseball growing up?
Yes, used to be.
Yeah, sure. Do you have brothers or sisters?
Yes, I have an older sister.
Does she still live down there?
Yeah.
Did she play in the sport?
No, she's not good.
Not interested. So you played a lot of sport growing up then? When did you start playing baseball? From a young age?
Yes, I started playing baseball when I was 7. But I didn't join a local baseball club because I was a girl. So I played badminton and basketball and 100-meter sprint when I was junior high and a high school student.
Okay, so you did a bit of everything. And separately, you met Alex. I actually don't know the story, how you guys met.
It is a very top secret.
Very top secret. Shouldn't be asking. My goodness.
Okay. I can answer. I met him. I was a graduate school student. He came to Kyoto to take an Australian coach.
Right. So you met kind of through, were you playing cricket at that point?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you did kind of meet through cricket.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your earliest memories of cricket? Like when did you come across the sport and how did you start playing?
I started playing cricket when I was 20 years old because my university has only one cricket club in my region.
The Dosha, right?
Dosha University, yeah.
So you were 20 years old. So how did you find cricket? Like did someone recommend it? Did one of your friends play? Did you just see it and want to go and join it? Like how did it happen?
I wanted to play baseball when I was a kid, but I didn't. So cricket looks like baseball, and I tried new things. So, cricket, it looks good.
Yeah, okay. And did you enjoy it right from the start, or were you a bit like, this game is a bit odd?
No, I always have fun.
Yeah, straight away.
Having fun, yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the things we try and get across to people. Everyone thinks, it's so strange that people play cricket in Japan. It's like, why? Everyone finds cricket fun if they give it a go. So that's still the mission of the JCA, right? To get more people playing and enjoying it. So you started as a medium pace bowler. When did you switch to bowling spin?
Switch spin in 2011 after global qualifier in Bangladesh.
Yeah, okay. So why did you switch?
Because we had a lot of pace bowler.
A lot of bowlers doing the same thing.
Yes. But always, we always struggle with pace spin.
Cool. So then you started playing women's cricket in what, it was around 2006, I think. That's when you made your debut for Japan. What was it like then and how's it changed?
We had limited chance to have training and play games at proper cricket ground. Always had training under the highway.
Yeah, okay. I've seen those.
Yeah.
Seen some photos of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty far from what we've got now. So then now you have this. Do you think that having to train in those really basic facilities, years and years ago, has made you work harder and has made you really grateful for what you have? Nodding still doesn't work. It's a podcast.
Yeah, I know JCA is very working hard to find a place and get support with the cricket ground.
Yeah, and the relationships with Sana and
everything.
Okay, so then the big moment, I guess, in women's cricket in Japan was 2010. Went to the Asian Games and won a bronze medal. So you were part of that team.
Yes.
What were your memories of that?
Yep. We were not sure we could celebrate or not because China bowlers bowled wide and finished the match.
Really? Yeah.
It's okay or not.
Yeah, we always told you shouldn't cheer when an opponent bowls a wide, right? It's like, well, I think when you win, it's kind of okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you beat Nepal twice in that
And then
tournament,
twice, yeah.
and then beat China. So, like, do you think at the time you realized like how great it was to have done that?
We didn't notice that, but now beat Nepal twice and played against Pakistan or maybe Pakistan twice.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
And we don't get to play against those teams like ever, really.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really great experience. Okay, so then talking about people, is there any one person or maybe a couple of people who've been big influences on your career?
Katrina Keenan.
I thought you might say. So why? What was so great about
Kapo-chan? She coached us for 4 or 5 years. And she always taught us what cricket is, what we have to do. And she always coached us tactics. We always had meeting after training for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I know you had the long meetings. I remember when I first arrived, there were a lot of long meetings.
Half of us sleeping for a sea.
Yeah.
Very long.
Yeah. But she was quite an influence on your English as well, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I remember you telling me that before. So, I mean, just again, for those who don't know, Katrina, she played for New Zealand, right?
Yes.
Beforehand. And she was over here because her husband was a rugby coach.
Yes, and her husband now works for Hino Rugby.
Oh, right.
So her husband stay in Japan.
Right. But she's not here.
She will come to Japan next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long?
I don't know.
Okay. I should probably do this. Okay. And then, you mentioned earlier that you broke 3 bats during the winter practicing your batting. So do you prefer batting or bowling?
Can't decide. I love both, but maybe batting.
As you get older, bowling becomes a bit harder, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got a career best of 140. So that was over in England. So you played a year in England. What was that like?
Very cricket.
Yeah. It's cricket.
Yes, and cricket culture.
Yeah.
I had tea time.
Yeah. So then what do you think are the biggest challenges for female cricketers in Japan?
Okay. Balance between studying or working.
Yeah, we lose a lot of players because they finish uni, right?
Yes, yeah.
And they start. So, can you give any advice to people at that age who might be leaving uni and trying to get in? They want to keep playing, but they don't know how to. How do you keep that balance?
I think they need to communicate with their company what they want to do. If they will keep playing, they have to communicate with the company.
Most companies are quite accepting, right? Because if they have a national player, it's good promotion for the company as well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. And what advice would you give to young female cricketers who are playing the game now? Not just in Japan, anywhere.
Keep working hard and having fun.
Yeah. Play with a smile.
Yeah, that's all.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
And what role do you think you can play now in developing cricket in Japan?
Okay, pass more experience and knowledge as a player, and hopefully everything I go through in my career will help in the future as a coach.
Yeah, that's the plan. Become a coach.
Yeah.
So we need to get you on some coaching courses.
Yeah, I will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can make one change to the cricketing structure in Japan as it is at the moment, what would that be?
I think everything is good, and we have a J-Bash and a cricket burst, and we have a sponsor for women's national team. So just players have to commit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think, the work that we've done with the J-Bash to create that structure, right? And again, I haven't talked a lot about this on the podcast. So just for those who don't know, we have the J-Bash Social, which is your entry level. Anyone can come along and learn about cricket, what it is. And we'll usually do a bit of a training session and a bit of a 6-side game with a softball. And one of those games is all plastic bats and softballs. And then we have the J-Bash Challenge League, which is, we played some just a couple of weeks ago. We had a T10 game. We had 2 T10 games.
Very nice.
Here. And it was 11-a-side and played with a hard ball. So it was the first time for players to actually experience playing marble cricket. And we still had national squad members in those teams, but they played down the order. They didn't bowl. And they were just there to support the new players. And doing those as 2 T10 matches meant that everyone got to go that day. And I think from speaking to the girls that were involved that day, they really felt that it was a good opportunity for those new players to learn and to enjoy it and have fun. And doing it here is great at the SICG. They can use the tea room and everything like that and use the facilities. And that, up until now, my understanding has been that's kind of what the Women's League's been, right? The Women's League has been an opportunity for people to play. So we want to move away from that so that the Women's League, which starts this weekend, can be I don't want to say high performance, because it's not quite there yet. Hopefully it will get there. But it can be more of an opportunity for national squad players to show what they can do. And then we have the J-Bash All-Stars when that is the high performance. And the All-Stars is just, maybe 3, 4, 5 games a year. And so hopefully we're catering for everyone in that structure. But we've got to get the players to come into it, right? All right. Well, thank you for your time on that. I always have my podcast finished with a few specific questions.
Okay.
So I'm always interested in what people make of these. So we'll start with some cricket specific questions.
Okay.
Who is the best player that you've played with or against?
Alex Blackwell.
Still Alex Blackwell. Even after FairBreak, she's still the best player.
Yes.
Great. What's the best thing you've ever learned from a coach?
Not too much thinking. Just keep it simple.
Favorite shot?
Cover drive like Sachin Tendulkar.
What's your first thought after getting out?
Never mind, next time.
Career highlights?
Played a FairBreak Invitational as the first professional Japanese cricketer.
And getting an MVP award? Is there any loss? Is there any game that you lost that still really annoys you?
We lose against China in 2014 in Incheon.
There's a bit of background to that though, right? So after winning the bronze medal in 2010, we then got seeded for the next tournament and went straight into a quarterfinal. And you were there for what, 12 days?
12 days.
Before playing a game?
Yeah.
And China had come through a group stage and played 3 matches. So they were all warm and ready and cool as cold.
Yes.
Yeah, that as an irritating result. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen happen on the cricket field?
Erika Oda,
Uh-huh.
when she played the first match for Japan in Hong Kong, she really good batting. She smashed the ball, but she fell down middle of the pitch.
Go run out.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then
I remember that vividly. That actually mentioned that on our podcast. What's your favourite format of cricket, both to play and to watch?
as a batter, I like 50 over.
Yeah, the longer the better,
Yes.
right? Like that's what Vinay said. The longer I can bat, the better.
But as a bowler, T20 is good for me.
Yeah, not so hard on the body. Who's your favourite teammate?
Very hard.
Past or present? You've had lots.
Kyo and Luan.
Two Sano girls.
Yes.
All right. Can you name one innings or bowling performance that someone else has had that you wish you could have done yourself?
Sophia Dunkley's 123 runs of 73 balls.
In the third place player.
Yes.
Yeah, that was quite an extraordinary innings. What was it like watching that on the sidelines? Because I turned on, was following that game, and like even in the first innings, they were like 150 off 14 overs, and I was like, oh, geez, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
And then I tuned in the chase, and I was like, hey, they're in this. So what was it like watching it? Because chasing down 118 is hard at any level of cricket.
Yeah, very hard. But that's always but number 3 during the tournament. My first time but open. But she always smash ball. She's very powerful and she's very clever. So just trust that we can do it.
What was the feeling in the dugout with the players? Was everyone just getting really, as you get closer to the score, was everyone getting really excited?
It's a bit excited, too excited.
It's nice to finish on a positive note at that tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, I've got some Japan-specific questions for you.
Okay.
So what's your favorite thing about Japan?
A lot of beautiful places to visit, like Kyoto or Hokkaido.
That's kind of my next question. If there's one place that you had to go to that you'd recommend a visitor,
Ryoanji in Kyoto.
Ryoanji.
Ryoanji.
What is that?
Ryoanji Temple. The very famous stone garden.
Favorite food?
Natto.
Oh, jeez. Worst food?
Corn.
Corn?
Yes.
Sweet corn?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've paid it.
Okay. And your favorite Japanese word or phrase and its meaning? You have lots of Japanese sayings. I hear you use them all the time.
やばい、考えてない。Very hard to answer that. Maybe I'm not Japanese. My favorite Japanese word is 笑う角には福来たる.
Which mean?
When you smile, good luck will come to you.
Spawn. That's a good one. So you're going to say it again slowly.
笑う角には福来たる.
Perfect.
天才.
Zusan, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. There was nothing to be nervous about, was there?
Sorry, my English is no good.
English is perfect. Thank you very much for your time. And good luck for the rest of the year.
ありがとうございます.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And as always, you can leave a review or a rating, then I'd be eternally grateful. Failing that, if you can recommend the podcast to just one other person you know who you think might be interested, just one person, that would be great. I did tip over 2,000 plays in the last week, so that's nice, but the more the better, just to keep me motivated. Thanks, and as always, you can catch me on the Japan Cricket Podcast Instagram page. Feel free to send some messages there. And finally, you will notice some new music on the show this week. So a big thanks to BRB Munde for providing the score. Perhaps a bit more to come from him as well. But do go and check him out on Spotify if you are keen on what you're hearing. Thanks again, and for now, arigatou gozaimashita.